Stuart Adamson was born on April 11, 1958 in Manchester, England. His parents were Scottish. He is most well known for being the singer, a songwriter, and a guitar player in the band Big Country. Their biggest hit was called In a Big Country and was released in 1983. Even though I was only 8 years old at the time, I realized how special that song was. Do you have a favorite song from them? He started out in a couple of punk bands. The first one was called Tattoo. His second band was called Skids. They had a top 10 UK single with the song called Into the Valley. He quit the band in 1981. Next was the more pop rock sounding Big Country. They blew up with their album called The Crossing. They continued touring and releasing albums until the year 2000. An article from loudersound.com said Adamson was successful, handsome, charismatic, talented. He made music that was inspirational, compassionate, and uplifting. On stage, he was the life of the party, loud and hearty. He was married twice and had 2 children. He formed his final band called the Raphaels in 2001. After being sober for over 10 years, he started drinking again and got a DUI. His second wife had just filed for divorce. He died in 2001 after ending his own life. He was drinking a lot in his Honolulu hotel room. He was 43 years old. Michael Hutchence was born on January 22, 1960 in Australia. He is known for being the charismatic lead singer, co-founder, and co-songwriter in the band INXS. He also acted in several movies. The band sold over 75 million albums and Michael was considered a sex symbol. His relationships and drug use kept him in the tabloids. He dated many high-profile women. The band was formed in 1977 and had some great songs. Their 1987 album called Kick made them global stars. They continued releasing albums and touring. In 1992, while in Copenhagen, Michael was punched by a taxi driver when he refused to move out of the driver's way. His skull was fractured from hitting the ground. He had brain damage and lost his sense of smell and some sense of taste. He got into a public feud with the band Oasis, which led Noel Gallagher to famously say, "Has-beens shouldn't give awards to gonna-bees" at the 1996 Brit Awards. Michael committed suicide in 1997. Some say it was accidental autoerotic asphyxiation, but this has been disproven. He was 37 years old. Keith Emerson was born on November 2, 1944 in England. He is known for being the keyboard player, songwriter, and founding member of the band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They were a great 70s prog band. He's been called one of the greatest, most technically accomplished keyboardists in rock history. He formed the band The Nice in 1967. He became known for his flamboyant performances. In 1970, he formed Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They sold over 48 million albums. They broke up in 1979 but reformed years later. He would form Emerson, Lake and Powell with drummer Cozy Powell. The Nice even toured later on. He put out some solo albums and toured a lot. He was married once and had 2 kids. In 1993, his house burned down, he got divorced, and he had arthritis-like symptoms in his hands. He began drinking a lot. Later on, he developed nerve damage in his hands and he suffered from depression. He committed suicide in March of 2016. He was 71 years old. Pete Ham was born on April 27, 1947 in Wales. He is known for being the talented singer, rhythm guitarist, and founding member of the band Badfinger. They were the first band signed to the Beatles record label, Apple Records. Their first hit song, called Come and Get It, was written by Paul McCartney. He just gave them the song. They got their name from Badfinger Boogie, which was the working title for the Beatles song With a Little Help from My Friends. Their second album, released in 1970, had the hits No Matter What and Without You, which would also be recorded by Harry Nilsson. When the Beatles broke up, Apple Records imploded. They signed with Warner Brothers. There were lawsuits, money problems, rejected albums, and tremendous pressure to release a new album every 6 months. He just purchased a house and was told he had no money. After a night of drinking, he committed suicide by hanging in April of 1975. He left behind a pregnant girlfriend and her son. He was 27 years old. Tom Evans was born on June 5, 1947 in Liverpool, England. He is known for being the bass player and co-songwriter in the band Badfinger. He sang lead on their first hit song called Come and Get It, which was written by Paul McCartney. They were the first band signed to the Beatles record label, Apple Records. Success seemed to be a no-brainer for Badfinger, but this was not exactly the case. In 1967, he joined a band called the Ivies, which featured Pete Ham on vocals and guitar. They changed their name to Badfinger and things were looking great. They had the Beatles' stamp of approval. They had hits with the songs No Matter What and Baby Blue. Tom and Pete both wrote the great song called Without You, which has been covered many times, most notably by Harry Nilsson and Mariah Carey. Both writers would commit suicide. Pete Ham in 1975 and Tom in 1983. Financial struggles with former bandmates and missing Pete may have had something to do with it. He was 36 years old. Ronnie Montrose was born on November 29, 1947 in San Francisco, California. He was a great guitar player and a songwriter. He's most known for the band named after himself called Montrose. I was actually shocked from how he died. His first band was called Sawbuck. Ronnie left that band to be in Van Morrison's band. He also played with Boz Scaggs and then Edgar Winter. In 1973, he formed Montrose with Sammy Hagar as his singer. After 2 albums, Sammy went solo. Sammy said Ronnie never wanted to share the spotlight. With singer Bob James, Montrose released 2 more albums. He released an instrumental solo album in 1978. His next band was called Gamma. Throughout the 80s and 90s, he released more solo albums as well as Montrose and Gamma albums. He played on Sammy Hagar's 1997 album called Marching to Mars. He fought and beat prostate cancer. He suffered from depression. He was married twice and had 2 children. He died in 2012 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was extremely drunk at the time of his death. His blood alcohol content was 0.31. The death of a family member and his dog exacerbated things. He was 64 years old.